What's that? I'm going to tell you this. Yeah. Good afternoon and welcome. Class of 2018, please be seated, everybody. It's my privilege to welcome the members of the class of 2018, their families and friends, the faculty, members of the Board of Trustees, alumni, particularly the Old Guard, and other guests to the 244th commencement exercises of Newark Academy. This is the first time, incidentally, that we've done it inside in about 15 years, and I'm glad to hear the echo isn't too terrible. I hope you all can hear. I have a couple of announcements that I will get to in a second. So with a history as long and as rich as this school's, it is worth recognizing for a moment that a version of this ceremony has taken place every year since the founding of this nation on 5 different campuses, all but one of which was located in Newark. As an institution, our reach spans centuries, has influenced the lives of thousands, and occupies a unique place in the narrative of this region. I extend a special welcome to the graduates of the class of 1968, many of whom began at our First Street location in Newark before moving here to become one of the first graduating classes on the Livingston campus. I also salute our distinguished speaker, Dr. Tom Carew. Finally, I want to thank everybody on the dais, Mr. Erlinson and all the maintenance team for their hard work in preparing for today's celebration. Just a couple of practical details. If it gets a little hot in here, you can move up to the auditorium, which is air-conditioned, and watch the entire proceedings on live stream. Bathrooms are out there if anyone needs them. As the ceremony concludes, our tradition is to have the faculty flank the graduating class. We'll do that in the long hallway in the center of the school up near the Wrightson Gym, which is where we will have the reception to which all of you are invited. Before we begin, I would like to recognize one alumni present here today, Mr. Stephen Kravitz, class of 1968. He did not graduate from Newark Academy because his family fell on hard times in the spring of his senior year and he had to move out of state. He later petitioned for and was granted a diploma after he successfully completed his first year of college. Now retired, Mr. Kravitz is with us to celebrate the class of 2018. Welcome. His presence, along with the presence of what we fondly refer to as the Old Guard, is a reminder that the connections between Newark Academy alums and the school often last a lifetime, and I hope that all of you, class of 2018, will remain connected to the school and to each other as you move through the next chapters of your life. On this spring afternoon, we come together to celebrate the accomplishments of the extraordinary group of young women and men seated in front of me. Class of 2018, please stand. On behalf of the faculty, I commend you for your work in the classroom, for your active engagement in school life, and for your leadership this year as seniors. We are proud of you for your distinguished scholarship, service, artistic expression, and athletic contributions. We are confident that you are prepared to succeed in the colleges and universities you have selected. Your growth and achievement while at the Academy are impressive, but I ask you now to acknowledge that many others have helped you along the way. Please take this moment to salute those without whom your productive time at Newark Academy would not have been possible. Class of 2018, please turn now to acknowledge your gratitude to your families who have sacrificed for your education and have nurtured you throughout your lives to this great day. Class of 2018, please now turn to your left to acknowledge the faculty who have so generously shared their knowledge and their wisdom with you. You may be seated. We will now hear a choral selection from the concert choir.
Good afternoon. As Dean of Students, it is my honor to introduce the two student speakers at the graduation of the well-loved and impressive class of 2018. At the end of the ceremony today, Ezra Leibovitz will share closing remarks to urge us forward. A celebrated writer, Ezra has won awards from the New Jersey Council of Teachers of English and the Scholastic Art and Writing Contest, including numerous Gold Key Awards in both short story and poetry. He has read his winning work at the Dodge Poetry Festival and won a National Creative Minds Competition Award. Co-president of NA's Performance Poetry Club and editor of Prism's Literary Magazine, this year Ezra won the National Gold Medal in Poetry from Scholastic. A chameleon saxophonist and a senior member of the Equity and Inclusion team, Ezra has worked in many publications, including Decon P, YA Review, L'Ephémère, and Polyphony. Ezra was chosen by the senior class officers to offer the final farewell, a special culminating tradition for us to anticipate. Today's opening oration honors the memory of a beloved English teacher, T.C. Abbey, who inspired many students to write excellently and to live fully, and by extension, honors all teachers for the many ways they inspire. Selected by the cum laude members, Melody Shaw will deliver the T.C. Abbey oration. Melody is the first New Jersey Youth Poet Laureate, chosen for her poetry, community involvement, and social justice work. Indeed, Melody has given to the NA community through her art, beginning freshman year at Coffee House, all the way to senior spring at the walkout against gun violence in schools. With her poetry appearing in numerous publications, Mel also served as co-president of NA's Performance Poetry Club and is the winner of 3 Scholastic Key Awards and the Moving Words International Poem to Film Competition. She has sung for Academy Voices and All Eastern Choir, managed the fencing and wrestling teams, and served as a senior member of the Equity and Inclusion team. In a classic understatement, Melody says she hopes that her work has left a positive impact on the school in some way. Mel, it definitely has. To start us off, I invite Melody to the podium, lectern. It is our great good fortune to have writers, poets, social activists like Ezra and Melody in our midst. Please give another warm welcome to Melody Shaw. Go for it.
For someone who's been writing throughout her high school career, words don't seem like enough right now. How do we truly describe this day at the very end of our years here, sitting together for a final time? Exciting, maybe. I was gonna say hot, but sure. Each of us is about to take our first steps into the rest of our lives, and that's a daunting prospect. But as we turn to face forward, we should also cast a look back, because the years that we have spent here are the platform from which we leap. I myself have 4 main takeaways, one from each of the 4 years that I've spent here at Newark Academy. Freshman year, fear is a great motivator. If you combined all the stereotypes about high school freshmen and slapped on a really ugly pair of glasses, you would have had me in 9th grade. I came in nervous, quiet, and blissfully unaware of what socially acceptable meant. Some of you probably remember me being that mushroom kid or the one who auditioned for choir solos that were definitely not meant for me. And believe me when I say that, throughout that whole year, I was terrified. I was afraid of making a wrong move my first year that would follow me for the rest of high school. Maybe I did. I'm thinking about my school pictures and that weird short red hair phase. But being so vulnerable meant that I had room to stretch before I settled. I joined clubs and groups that I didn't think I would like and then fell in love with them. I started to write. I learned what styles of music worked for my voice. I found a group of people who shared my passions and welcomed me with open arms. I kept taking the risks that stared me down, and after the discomfort, I found myself in places where I felt like I belonged. In short, whatever you're afraid of, try it. You might be surprised. Sophomore year. You will need to ask for help sometimes, and there's nothing wrong with that. The jump between freshman and sophomore year was the hardest one that I had to make. Suddenly, there was no leniency. Expectations for grades and essays and tests skyrocketed. The material that we had to understand started to fly over my head, and to make matters worse, I'd been on medical leave, so I had 2 months of catching up to do academically and socially. Pretty soon, I felt swamped. But I couldn't reach out for help, right? Like, teachers would yell at me, people would laugh at me, I would look like a failure. So I stayed quiet, and I let straw after straw pile up on the proverbial camel's back. I can't carry the world, though, and No one blames me for it. Eventually, I started to talk and talk and talk. I wrote and I spoke and I shouted, and little by little, the weight started to fall off my shoulders, and without knowing even exactly why, I felt like I could stand up straight again. And despite my fears, no one laughed at me. No one told me I was weak for not being able to take on 1,000,001 things all by myself. Instead, there were hands from all around reaching, waiting to pull me back up and waiting for me to take them. We'll all need to ask for help sometimes, and there's no shame in that. Junior year, you owe yourself a pat on the back. There's a strange culture of modesty that I've noticed in people our age. The accomplishments that we achieve are muffled because of the worry that someone will be upset by it or it's not enough. Sure, there's a limit to what you can be publicly proud of, but some of the things that we've done, we genuinely ought to be celebrated for. Musical achievements on national levels, a perfect win in a sport, taking a test after a rough night. High school isn't easy. Being a teenager isn't an easy thing to do. Being able to pull yourself up by the bootstraps when you feel like you can't is huge. I've had some nights where I could pump out an essay in maybe an hour and a half. And then other nights, I'd go to bed at 9 because I physically could not get myself to sit down, pick up a pencil, and write. We all have different thresholds. What's simple to one person could be galactic to another, or even to ourselves at a different time. We know ourselves better than anyone else ever could. We can recognize when our little steps are actually huge strides forward. When the crowd doesn't seem to be cheering all that loud for you, be your own cheerleader, because you deserve it. And finally, the takeaway from senior year. Everything is going to be okay. Yes, it's an overused phrase, it's on t-shirts and in self-help books, and we hear it all the time when we want to hear it the least, but it's true. When it feels like your world is getting shaken apart around you, the pieces usually fall together in new and refreshing and even better ways. Throughout the college applications, the drama, the anxiety-fueled midnight ice cream binges, I got to know myself more thoroughly over the course of a few months than I probably did in all 3 other years combined. I learned what it felt like to be disappointed by forces that I couldn't even dream of having control over. I learned that sometimes my best work won't be enough. I learned that 2 + 2 doesn't always equal 4, and you won't have the answer key to follow along. But I also learned about forgiveness and relaxing and taking my time. I learned that sometimes the best words of advice and comfort come from the last places you would expect them. I learned what it meant to have people who, through the lowest valleys and the highest peaks, would be waiting for you on the other side. And I learned that we are all stronger, more resilient, and braver than we give ourselves credit for. We are the people we have met, the mistakes we've made, and the stories we choose to tell. And all of them have led us to this moment, this day, this commencement. Congratulations to the class of 2018. I'm excited to see what we all accomplish.
Thank you, Melody. That was wonderful. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I would like to extend our deepest congratulations to Newark Academy's class of 2018, sincere appreciation and admiration to the Newark Academy faculty, administration, and staff, and a very warm welcome to Newark Academy family and friends. And to our guest commencement speaker, thank you for being with us today. To all the graduates, many I have known since you entered NA in 6th grade, and a few longer than that, I applaud you on your numerous accomplishments and achievements. There is so much for you and your families to be proud of. You are now successfully on the other side of a memorable and rigorous journey, poised for incredibly exciting opportunities, bright new horizons, and challenging choices. As of this hour, you're entering a new phase of your connection with Newark Academy. You've been students for a relatively short period of time here at the Academy, And for a very long time, you'll be an alum of this deeply historical and extraordinary institution. We are all here today to celebrate you and your many accomplishments during your time at NA and to acknowledge the transition and the next phase of your lives. Be joyful today and celebrate all that you have accomplished and embrace every second of this graduation experience. I assure you, this is one of those special moments that you will recall for the rest of your lives. It is a conclusion in many ways, as you'll say farewell to friends and faculty, and you'll leave behind those routines that you've been accustomed to. You'll relinquish those special places on the NA campus where you've spent time with friends, laughing and sharing experiences, those special places where you've also worked so diligently on solutions to complex problems, or to thoroughly understand an author's thinking, or to finish a piece of art, or to perform a piece of music so brilliantly and with passion, or have achieved a personal best on a playing field or in the gym while enjoying the true bonds and the meaning of teamwork. While those NA experiences are behind you now, it is what lies ahead that is the most exciting and should have you in great anticipation. More than an end to your NA days, this is an important beginning. The future, of course, is unknown, and with that can come some nervousness and uncertainty. We are all human, but you have every reason to push that out of the way, and you should. You are about to become NA graduates, well-educated, thoughtful, open-minded, ambitious, and driven. Be courageous out there. This Newark Academy community has provided you with a very strong education and foundation that will allow you to face the next set of challenges with confidence. Newark Academy has helped ready you for what's next. You own your accomplishments today, but it is also important to remember those that have helped you achieve your success. Whether a parent, a family member, a teacher, or a member of the administration or staff, they made a difference in your success, so take the time to look them in the eye, give them a hug, and say thank you, and deeply express your gratitude. Lastly, I want to ask you to think about your own integrity, your own character, and the value of your own word. The world's challenges grow ever more complex, and it is often difficult to navigate between what is the truth and what is not. One way to steer out of this mist is for you to engage with this world. Listen to not one side of an argument, but all sides. Then form your opinions and stand by your convictions. Be truthful with yourselves and with others, and you will help shape our future in a very positive way. As chairman of the Board of Trustees, I want you to always feel that NA is your home. It is a place where you can circle back to and stay in touch with those people that have helped to shape your lives. And I'm asking you and want you to make special note. Be an ongoing part of this NA community. Come back to see sporting events, homecoming, and reunions. Find your way to stay connected to your friends and the wonderful people that have helped guide you. We want to see you back for many visits. And I sincerely hope that one of you will be standing here a couple of decades from now as president of the Board of Trustees addressing a future graduating class. I wish you all the very best for great health, a tremendously enlightening college experience, and a truly self-fulfilling lifelong journey. Today, we are pleased to welcome as our keynote speaker a distinguished neurologist and teacher who has served as the Dean of New York University's Faculty of Arts and Sciences since 2011, and has held leadership roles at the University of California, Irvine, and Yale University. During his tenure as dean, he has placed a high priority on the fostering of broader diversity, equity, and inclusion at the faculty, student, and staff levels. He has also led a team that developed a faculty hiring toolkit focusing attention on diversifying the pool of applicants and hiring more diverse faculty, which has now been utilized with great success by arts and sciences and other schools at NYU. He has also spearheaded the creation of fellowships and scholarships, research programs, and conferences to provide students from underrepresented or undeserved backgrounds. with inclusive opportunities for learning and advancement in their chosen fields. A renowned scholar and the author of more than 190 scholarly articles and 3 books, he has focused his research on the behavioral, cellular, and molecular analyses of learning and memory. Among his many honors are the National Institute of Mental Health Merit Award, an NIMH Career Development Award, Yale's Dylan Hickson Prize for Excellence in Teaching in the Natural Sciences, and the Outstanding Faculty Mentor Award at the University of California, Irvine. He is an elected fellow of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences and served as president of the Society for Neuroscience in 2008. He has impressed many with his visionary view of higher education, unwavering commitment to academic excellence, and passion for learning, and it is now my great pleasure to introduce to you my friend, Dr. Thomas Carew, who will address the Newark Academy class of 2018.
Good grief, I should just sit down after that introduction. David, thank you so much. This is a real treat. First of all, the obvious. Congratulations, class of 2018. You made it. Well done. So it's a real honor to have a chance to address this class, numbering 101 strong. You've worked hard, you've dreamed big, and now here you are on this day graduating from Newark Academy. You've got a lot of achievements under your belt, both academic, artistic, and athletic, but let me tell you one that I'm most proud of when I did my homework. This class, looking you in the eye right now, has this year alone put in more than 4,000 hours of community service. Let's hear it from the back of the room for that. Beyond that, in aggregate since your freshman year till now, you've put in more than 40,000 hours. Is that right? 10,000 hours. Half my job as a dean is to pump numbers, but the fact of the matter is 10,000 hours of community service is extraordinary. It tells us that you not only have strong minds and powerful bodies, but big hearts. Congratulations. So I've got a question for you. The folks in the back of the room can eavesdrop, but we're just chatting, you and me. Have you ever had the experience of reading your favorite author, just loving the book, and getting to the end of it and starting to feel a little depressed because you're getting to the end of it and it's going to be over? I'm seeing some nods already. And then a wonderful, cool thing happens. You find out there's a sequel, that the author's written another one, and you pre-order it on your Kindle, or you go to a real bookstore and buy that book. Well, guess what, folks? That's where you all are right now. You are, each and every one of you, a new book coming out next year. And I can't wait to see what the new chapters in that book will look like. This morning, I'd like to suggest just a few titles that you might consider for your new book coming out next year. I'm going to give you 3 titles, 3 chapters. The first chapter is going to be called It Ain't Failure. The second chapter is going to be called Don't Be Tolerant. And the third chapter is How Much Does the Brooklyn Bridge Weigh? I know you're worried by now, but it'll be over soon. Hang in. So the first chapter, It Ain't Failure. This is a word that's way too much overused. I tried something and I failed. And I'm going to suggest to ask, don't ask what I did to fail, but ask how hard was the task that I set myself for? Melody's already told us about those wonderful challenges she faced in the early years and has overcome. They're not failures, they're challenges. And what I'd ask you to do is to change the vocabulary, the nuanced phrasing, to being an acceptable outcome for a difficult activity or a difficult or challenging goal. Let me give you a couple examples. As David mentioned to you, excuse me, I'm a neuroscientist. I run a laboratory studying memory in the brain, and I'm blessed to have wonderful grad students and undergrads in my shop. Some of you may land there someday, and also postdoctoral fellows. And we do experiments every day that are both technically and conceptually challenging. They don't work most of the time. We don't consider them failures. We consider it part of the task we've taken on. So my students, my grad students, my postdocs know that that's part of their daily life. Oh, just a brief aside, I got to tell you this, I thought of it driving in. When I was at Yale, there was an article came out in the local newspaper of interviewing little kids for what they thought scientists did. What does a scientist do? And my favorite answer was by a little kid who was 10 years old, and she answered the following way. She said, quote, "What a scientist does, he comes into his lab. We already have a problem. He will get past that. Start over." Her quote is, "A scientist comes into the lab. He puts on his lab coat. He has a cup of coffee. He makes a discovery, and he has lunch." Would that it were true. Have to recalibrate that little one. But let me give you a second example. How many, show of hands, know anything about baseball at all? Let me see. Right. So you all know what a batting average is, right? What do you think the best batting average is you've ever seen? Let me go back to the actual record holder beyond your time, but you may have heard of him, Ty Cobb, who ended his career in 1928. But he ended his career with a lifetime batting average of .366 over 24 seasons. That's extraordinary. But guess what? You know what that means? Ty Cobb struck out 2 out of 3 times. 2 out of 3 times. I can guarantee you when he went back to the dugout, he didn't feel like a failure. He might have been ticked off that he didn't hit the ball. He certainly wanted to, but he didn't go back feeling like a failure because he knew the odds. 2 out of 3 is a pretty tough average to beat, especially when the diameter of a baseball is 3 inches. It's coming at you at over 90 miles an hour, and you got to hit it with a stick. It's hard. So he is expected to strike out 2 out of 3 times. He didn't feel like a failure. He felt like that was a tough goal to set for himself. So what I'd like to do is to suggest 2 things from this. One is, don't be afraid of trying something hard. It's worth it. But the other point is, if it doesn't work every time, don't call it a failure. Call it a regular turn at bat. Let's move to your second chapter. Don't be tolerant. I know it sounds weird. But my point, I'm going to challenge you to go way beyond tolerance. I want you to aim higher, strive further than the word tolerance implies. Let me give you the definition of tolerance. The formal definition is showing a willingness to allow the existence of opinions or behaviors that one doesn't necessarily agree with. So by this narrow definition, if I tolerate you, I somewhat reluctantly admit your right to exist. We can do better than that. We should aim better than that. We should aim higher than that. We are all members of a clan. We're all members of a tribe defined by our family, our ethnicity, our religion, our culture, our politics, our sexual identity. But I would encourage you to fight that clan, fight that tribal instinct. Don't be afraid of the other. Seek common ground with others whose ideas and values and language and culture often are truly different than your own. Open the door to them. Let them in. You don't have to agree. That's just fine. Disagreeing is fine. But open the door and let them in. I would ask you to strive for mutual respect. Don't stay in your clan or your tribal bubble. Whenever you come across someone with a different race, gender, language, or sexual orientation or religion, open yourself up to the other. Strive for beyond tolerance. Strive for acceptance. Strive for understanding. Strive for respect. Remember that when you encounter someone that you're not members of their clan, you're the other. You're the outside of that clan. So don't worry about being the different one. Embrace that. Let's move past exclusion and wariness of the other and celebrate differences and look for opportunities to extend a hand to others who speak differently, who dance differently, who pray to a different God or don't choose to pray to a God differently than we do. And I tell you right now, if you extend that hand, the high likelihood is that hand will come right back to greet yours. Now let's turn to the third chapter. How much does the Brooklyn Bridge weigh? I know, it's a goofy question. How would you possibly go about answering this question? How would you even begin to think about actually getting at an estimate? And what I'm going to tell you the answer is, and it's probably not intuitive yet, is that it will reveal the true value of diversity. So how might we effectively estimate how much the bridge weighs? Who would you want around the table trying to figure that estimate out? Who would you want to work with to try to get at least a reasonable guess? Well, you might want a bunch of engineers. Sounds reasonable. You get 10 or 12 engineers around the table to discuss this question, and they would come up with a reasonable solution of how to estimate the weight of that bridge. But the estimate would be limited. It would be limited by their unique experience, by their specific training, by the specific paradigms that they use in their daily professional lives. And so the solution they would come up with would be perfectly reasonable, but a uniform one. It would be limited by the fact, and this is the point, they all think the same way. This is called consensus bias. How might we get a better estimate for the solution of how much that bridge weighs? How about, in addition to engineers, we ask architects to join the table, maybe physics professors, maybe steel producers, maybe the men and women who actually built that bridge and toiled hard to make it a beautiful structure that it is. And finally, how about tossing in the mix a few recent Newark Academy graduates? The point is that the more diverse the population of people around a table who combine their talents, who combine their unique experiences to solve the problem, the better will be the solution. Let me tell you why. The professor comes out of me here. The reason you get a better solution is because the variance drops. Whenever you have a lot of different folks trying to solve that problem, the variance of the estimate drops, and the lower the variance, the tougher the better is the solution for that problem. So consensus bias can be reduced by getting the variance of the estimate down, and you get that variance down by getting a lot of folks in this room with very different backgrounds sitting around that table trying to solve a common problem. I strongly encourage you to read the seminal work of a professor and writer at the University of Michigan whose name is Scott Page, and he wrote a book called The Difference. It provides several experimentally compelling examples that support the view, and this is important and somewhat non-intuitive, diversity can actually outperform ability. Whether you're studying decisions made by juries or stock trading, the evidence is compelling that culturally, economically, and ethnically diverse populations outperform the non-diverse groups every time. The main point is that reducing consensus bias provides a path for the strongest solutions. So the bottom line of this chapter in your book that's coming out means to make the strongest decisions, the most effective choices, the most informed policies. Look for others that don't look like you to sit around that table to consider the outcome. And a final point I want to make that is actually a reflection of my second chapter I suggest to you, and that's diversity is not just the right thing to do because of the importance of embracing intellectual and cultural differences. We describe that in your second chapter. Diversity is also a powerful, accurate, and pragmatic way to get the most powerful decisions and the most important policy decisions in that context. So I would suggest to you a spin on the old adage, great minds think alike. I'd suggest to you the alternative, great minds think differently. Okay, so here we are. 3 chapters into your next book. But I have to tell you, the next one's going to be a long one. The next book's going to be long with lots of chapters filled with adventures, intrigues, challenges, and yes, setbacks, not failures. And as a final thought, once you get near the end of that book, the one that you're writing over the next years, and you start to experience that disappointment that the book is coming to an end, I got to tell you, there's a sequel. In fact, there's a whole library in your future. And all of us gathered here, your parents, your family, your loved ones, your friends, these amazing teachers, all of us we can't wait to start reading your books. Congratulations, 2018.
Thank you so much, Dr. Carew, for your inspiring words. As our graduates head off to college and universities, your wisdom and perspective are valuable and much appreciated. Thank you for being here with us this afternoon to honor these Newark Academy seniors. To all those assembled here, I proudly present the class of 2018. It has been a privilege to witness your progress through your time at Newark Academy. Whether you're completing 3 years or the full 7-year term of lifers, you have made your mark. Let me highlight for our guests a few facts about this amazing group. 34 completed the full International Baccalaureate Diploma program. The class of 2018 includes 5 National Merit semifinalists, 32 National Merit commended students, and 2 Hispanic scholars. While at the Academy, members of the class of 2018 participated in a range of off-campus study programs for a full semester, including the Island School, the Chewonki School, the School for Ethics and Global Leadership in Washington, and the High Mountain Institute in Colorado. In completing their immersion requirements, this class represented our school throughout the world, from China to South America to Africa. A remarkable number of seniors earned national and statewide creative writing honors, some of which Ms. Galvin mentioned, and there are too many others to detail here. Many of them have had their work published in respected journals. It bears repeating what Dr. Carew said. Members of the class of 2018 did over 4,000 hours of community service this year alone and over 10,000 hours since they began as freshmen. This is a class whose generosity has touched the lives of many people. These seniors also excelled in the performing arts, which have flourished under their leadership. Chameleon, our top jazz band, won the New Jersey State competition for the 9th consecutive year, was a finalist in the Mingus competition, and finished second at the prestigious Essentially Ellington Festival, the preeminent national high school jazz competition in the United States. Our a cappella group, Illumination, which included 4 seniors this year, took 4th in the International Championship of High School a cappella. This winter's homegrown musical, Big Fish, benefited from the prodigious vocal, instrumental, and acting talent of this class. One member of the class of 2018 has signed a national letter of intent to join NCAA Division I fencing at Harvard. 5 other students will compete in Division III athletics in college. Led by many in this class, our robotics team finished 7th in New Jersey out of 50 entrants in New Jersey in the Panasonic Design Challenge last year. This is also the class whose leadership in science and technology was demonstrated through high-level research internships, as well as our own STEM-oriented clubs, Newark Anatomy, Vipers, and Strategic Gaming. Class of 2018, the colleges and universities that you have chosen are selective, prestigious, and reflective of your particular talents and interests. They include large universities and smaller liberal arts colleges from Maine to California. 3 of you will be taking a gap year to serve in the City Year Corps of Volunteers. 1 will do a 7-year medical school program, and 6 are pursuing degrees in architecture, musical theater, studio art, graphic design, and the music industry. Newark Academy is a challenging school with high standards and an ethos that values achievement. Yet even in a school with so many accomplished students, the class of 2018 stands out. Your aptitudes and motivations have led you to remarkable achievements, but you have also managed to remain joyful and kind. Both fellow students and the faculty regard you with respect and with affection. We are grateful for all you've contributed, and as bittersweet as it feels to see you go, we believe you are ready to make the transition to college. The faculty and I wish you rewarding lives as thoughtful and compassionate citizens. We hope that we have instilled in you the will to strive for high standards, the spirit to share generously with others, and the moral compass to act with honesty and integrity in a world that too often seems bereft of people who stay faithful to fundamental principles of good conduct. You can and should stand up for what you believe in. I will close with a charge that has been said at Newark Academy graduations since the 19th century, with echoes of that century's commitment to educating for character. I now charge you, honored youths, to bear yourselves with uprightness and integrity to the glory of God, to the honor of the state, and to the good name of this academy. Thank you. Mr. McGraw will now present the diplomas.
Zoe Cameron Adis. Arabisi Adetoya. Javon Nasir Anderson. Albert William Anwar. Maria Victoria Armas. Ariana Aziz. Francesca Clementina Badalamenti. John Andrew Barback. Benji Marvin Berkowitz. Jesse Bernardo. Anne Victoria Capelli. Sarah Chang. Jonathan Hunter Charette. Young Se Choi. Madeline May Christman. Reed Harden Christman. Nicholas Allen Chicalise. Amanda Sarah Cohen. Veronica Chichevsky. Olivia Renee Dayhoff. Claire Elizabeth Dempsey. Alexander Sebastian Dion. Harry Charles Archibald Echtman. Natalie Faye Edmond. Sam Nwanwu. Cosimo Fabrizio. Ishan Gotti. Ryan Nishith Gajarwala. Emmanuel Gabriel Garcia. Gregory Matthew Gavenda. Gregory James Gilbert. William Lewis Hayward. Nicholas Yvonne He. Samantha Ho. Cynthia Youngkwon Huang. Jennifer Huo. Thomas Christopher Ito. Yusuf Julius Jackson. Benjamin Feinberg Caney. Samantha Feinberg Caney. Catherine Yulim Kim. Reshma Shravani Kaparapu. Elena Ann Kwiatkowski. Ezra Chaim Lebovitz. Michelle Jennifer Lee. Benjamin Michael Light. Victoria Lee. Daniel Cole Lifson. Sydney Amanda Lowe. Kayla Alexandra McKay. Alexa Valerie Madsen. Jared Christian Maloney. Megan Anna McCullough. Jake Edward McAvoy. Ariana Nicole Mercado. Alessia Mercuri. Rachel Sylvia Miller. Alicia Merchandani. Tyler David Mudge. Madeline Ann Mudrick. Carrie Lee Nachtman. Mila Smeltz Nazarali. Nantambu Nicholas. Lauren Elizabeth Olener. Tess Alessandra Ostroff. Charles Leeway Pan. Christine Pan. Antonia Park. Samuel James Pensiero. Julie Fisher Phipps. Ellie Rebecca Pitkowski. Reese Puntus. Logan Reckler. Brian Thomas Robusto. Sarah Jane Rovit. Caroline Jean Salemi. Carolyn Ava Schachtel. Danielle Mariana Schmidt. Hunter Rebecca Schoen. Mallory Regina Shaw. Brady Theodore Schaefer. Rebecca Yeching Slater. Jada Ariana Smith. Isabel Anna Snee. Natalie Rose Sonkin. Durga Srivatsan. Elizabeth Redmond Stein. Ashley Sun. John William Slozik. Dean Kai Tan. Siddharth Ram Tumu. Audra Faye Wagner Carlberg. Bram Max Wieseneck. John Donald Wright. Andrew John William Weichner. Melody Shao. Claire Shu. Alina Zhang. Abby Zhu. Alan Zhu. Elliot Arnold Zornitsky.
You're going to put him down? You're going to let him sit? How about a round of applause for the class of 18? And as Ms. Galvin mentioned, Ezra is going to be our speaker.
Hello, and congratulations to the class of 2018. This fall, no matter what we do, we'll be leaving a certain comfort, a certain clarity behind. There's no way for us to predict the details of our lives 4 years from now, who we'll be or the things we'll discover. After all these years, we will again be young and uncertain. Today, I want to urge you to lean into that uncertainty, as counterintuitive as it may feel. It's so easy to shy away from it. Uncertainty is shadowy, uncomfortable. We want to know who we are and where we're going and what comes next. We want clarity and confidence and solid ground. And sure, by next year we'll have found it, or some semblance of it again, but there's also something precious, something vital and good and necessary about this moment, here and now. In a way, every possible future exists for you simultaneously. Every college friend you will ever make, every teacher who will change your life, every dream you want to chase after. In this moment, they all get to coexist, all equally real. Come tomorrow, you will have already become a high school graduate. The book closes. All this time becomes a memory, another thing to carry with you. You'll have plans to make for the summer, textbooks to buy for next year. But today, you are young and uncertain. You are sitting at your high school graduation with your friends all around you, and everything is bright with possibility. There is something good and true about this place, something luminal and powerful. You will never be here again, not like this. There is so much ahead of you, waiting for you, all of those potential realities so vivid and possible as we sit here together. It won't always be easy or perfect. It won't always be the moment you wanted, but it will be, and that's more than enough. Everyone here has a future. I can't wait to see what you do with it.
All right, now we're gonna move the tassels. So basically what happens is you take it in your right hand, you move it to the left side of your hat, then you all stand up, please rise. And when you throw it off, pizzazz, you'll be alumni. So here we go.
did that in the first set. Hey.
No, I don't want the song. Ready? Hey, we're not done. We're not done.
Hey, look. I'm hungry. No drummers.